Hey guys, I heard something the other day from someone who's very, very rich, and they kind of explained this whole idea of ownership to their audience. I was just one of that audience. And the whole idea about having ownership of things is something that we claim a lot in this space, especially in the XRP community, and myself included. But if we are going to become one of these ultra wealthy people, we need to change our view of ownership. If you really support this channel and you really want other people to see the content on this channel as well, because you just want as many people in this XRP army as possible, please consider hitting the like button. That does considerably more to support this channel than you can imagine. It gives the algorithm the notice that this was a good video, I liked it, and more people should like it as well. So if you could do that, thank you very much. If not, don't worry about it, maybe next time. You know, when you're going from zero earnings, so someone who has zero earnings, all the way up to say 100,000 a year or 150,000 a year, you spend that whole duration of time thinking about how you can acquire assets, how you can own things. And this is the exact space that we're all in, right? We want to have ownership of our assets. We want to have ownership of our XRP and all these other ISO tokens or whatever cryptocurrency you own. You want to have ownership of it, right? We're so worried about the idea of having ownership on our Ledger Nano or whatever wallet or the XRP ledger itself. We're all so passionate about how we own that. But their thought process about this was extremely different. Their idea was, and this will all make sense to you when I say it, you spend that $0 to $150,000, $200,000 or pounds a year trying to acquire assets and own assets. Then you spend £200,000 or dollars and up, so past that, trying to figure out how to let go of those assets. This is really interesting, right? Because the whole idea, the whole reason that you would let go of assets is simply because at a certain point, you don't want to be liable for the assets, right? It makes more sense to have these assets held in companies, in trusts, in holding companies, in subsidiaries, but held in a company. So in this example, let's say you have a really, really fancy car. The idea is that if you get into a car crash or there's some legal issue or a speeding camera and you get a ticket, do you want that personally? Because let me tell you, if you have it personally, if you have let's say you got a parking ticket, you get that parking ticket and you don't pay it, right? Because you think, I'm rich, I don't care. I don't care about paying no parking tickets or speed tickets. That's fine. But if you own a house and you also own a parking ticket, if you don't pay that parking ticket off for long enough, the house gets taken from you. So what is ownership? Do you own that house? The argument there that they would make is that the value of letting go of the assets, even though it might cost more in tax to hold assets in a company rather than personally in some cases, the idea of having less liability and less risk and less of that headache by holding the assets in a company and just driving a company car is a considerably better way to operate for these ultra rich people. And so, yes, I'm in here in my basement. I can't even stand up in my basement. That's how, I don't think people realize how low the ceiling is in my basement because I just sit down at the desk. And I understand there'll be lots of people saying, how can you talk to us about being ultra wealthy and the strategies for ultra wealth if you're just in a small little house, which I am, and I can't deny that. I firmly believe that if you learn the way that they operate, at some point, you will become one of those people. So you are the people you surround yourself with, right? If you surround yourself with people who go out to the clubs every weekend, or they spend money on silly things that they can't afford, and that's your group of people, you'll probably be in that category as well. And the reason I think it's good about talking about these wealth strategies is because me as a person, I'm surrounding myself basically with people who have achieved this ultra wealth. I'm not spending time with them physically because they don't want anything to do with someone who's not in that group, right? But you can follow them online, right? And so I follow lots of people who make these moves, restructure companies because their finances run better through the company. And these little strategies that make all the difference. And considering we are in assets that hopefully push us up into that category of people, we need to know how they operate. Otherwise, and here's the danger of not doing that, if you don't know the strategies that they use, you're gonna get screwed. You're gonna have a professional team that think, oh, he doesn't know what he's doing. He's got sudden wealth syndrome. Let's take advantage here because we've been here and done this before. And so you don't really want to fall into that category. There's would be a massive difference when this wealth comes and all of a sudden you come into a law firm and you say, I want this type of person, this type of person, this type of person. I've got this person on my team, this person on my team. I want to go this avenue for assets. I want to go this avenue for tax. And it sounds like you know what you're talking about, because you kind of do, because you've been following these people who've been making these moves. And so I think it's really important to put your mind space into that position where you are operating like one of those people before you are one of those people. I think it will make the world a difference. And so when I heard that, I wanted to share, because I think that's a really interesting way to look at it. We need to look at the assets that we own as temporarily in our possession, right? When the time comes, when that ultra wealth comes, we want to kind of rid our hands of our assets and just take the benefit of those assets through the company that we've established. And there's a whole company structure that I would love to get into in a future video, where you've got a trust at the top, and then you've got holding companies underneath, and then subsidiaries. And the whole idea of potentially having gold asset company, a digital asset company, an automotive asset company, whatever it is, like whatever assets you hold, is it good to have assets in individual companies that hold those assets, and then you just get paid by those companies, right? And so that whole structure is something I will absolutely love to talk about in the future. I also want to touch on something else that I think is going to shape the way this channel runs in the future and a lot moving forward. And that is the idea of positivity. Recently, I think it's because we've been down at these low levels and we're seeing this 34 cents, 33 cents, 35 cents for months. Like we're literally at the same price it was 6 years ago. Imagine that. This number that we're at is the pain number for XRP. And so I think people, no matter how high up they consider themselves or how knowledgeable they consider themselves, there's frustration. Everyone is truly, truly frustrated and in desperation mode. This is the ultimate time, if there's ever been a sign, to accumulate. And accumulating, when you hear FUD and anger and people biting back at people, and I can't say I've never done that before, because I've had my fair share of bite backs at people when I'm attacked online. I've never gone out there personally to attack as the first to attack. It's always been in response. But still, it doesn't make that any better. The whole attitude of being down at these levels can make everyone with really low patience and just really quick to respond to things in a negative way. And so I've truly, truly had enough of that. And I think now more than ever, at this price level, of all the price levels, this is the price level to be positive. Just think about the opportunity we have right now to accumulate this asset that we know is going to be used in the future of all finance. It's an incredible opportunity. You see lots of people on Twitter where they respond with such hate, and you can see it's like, they're really trying to dig it in. You know, if you don't know something and then they tell you this isn't right, you're a joke kind of thing. It's like, did you have to add the end bit? Couldn't you have just shown me what was right instead of like the stab? It's just funny. I think I'm going to just talk from now on, right? I think people confuse, because don't get me wrong, sometimes when you say controversial things, you get more attention online. It's just natural. And I think people confuse that desire to be controversial with being hateful. And so I think at these levels, these price levels, it's easier to be more hateful than have the patience and have a good conversation and a back and forth. Like if you have this information about this research and I have a different opinion from different research, it's actually way more effective just to show each other why, instead of saying one is dumber than the other or just sharing FUD or something like that. It shouldn't be like that. That's my commitment now on this channel, to actually never, ever, ever again say anyone's name when I'm talking about something that I don't agree with or anything. I'm not sharing stuff like that. Rather, I want to share how lucky we are to be in this asset, how positive this whole thing is going to be, the future of where we're going. And instead of kind of talking about the negatives about someone else, it's just not productive, and it makes everyone feel worse in the worst of times. And there's no point to all of that, because no one can be right all of the time. Everyone's doing their best. And listen to this little analogy that I thought of. It's like in church. You have, let's say you have Church of Christ, and then you have another I'm forgetting all my different congregation types. I've left my mind now, I don't know why. But you have two different types. They oftentimes oppose, like Church of Christ, you're not allowed to clap, right? You don't have instruments when you do the worship session. But then there are other ones, like let's say a Baptist church, where it's like, if you're not dancing, you're doing something wrong. You know, and if you're not speaking tongues, it's not right. You know, that kind of environment. What I tend to think is, why are we arguing? Why would we argue about one and not the other when there's the same thing in the middle? The same thing for both of those would be that they all believe in Jesus, right? and the resurrection and that he came back to save everyone's sins or clear everyone's sins. That's the same thing across the board. Like, they both believe the same thing. They're both going to the same target. Why would you spend the time arguing? You literally both agree on the same thing. If it wasn't clear already, that's what I'm saying about XRP and the XRP community and this whole cryptocurrency thing as well. You've got people who look at how the moon moves and how stones, I don't know all these things. It's like a magical, mythical side. And then there's people who do TA, and then there's people who just do commentary on news and stuff. We all hold XRP. Like, why are we biting at each other saying one's a terrible way to do it, or that doesn't work, or this is FUD, or whatever? We're all doing our best to work towards that central thing, which is we all want to retire from XRP, become financially free. We probably all want to help the world. We probably all want a big house. We probably all want a nice car. And we probably all want to retire the rest of our family as well. Like, we're all in the same position. It's just the worst way to go about it, to start arguing or pointing flaws in everyone, because we're all flawed in the first place. Like, makes no sense. If you tell me I'm not perfect, it's like stating the obvious. Literally, thanks. What was the point in that? Anyway, just a lot in my mind. For anyone watching this video, this whole next week is going to be pretty interesting. You're going to see a lot of scenes that you haven't seen before. You're not going to be seeing me in my basement because I'm off. You'll see why. It'll be a very interesting podcast coming up, but it won't be in the normal scenery that you're used to on this channel. If you're watching this video and you always watch my videos, but you haven't subscribed, there's a lot of people like that, okay? The algorithm just feeds you my videos because you like watching them. Please consider clicking subscribe. It's absolutely free. One of the biggest ways that you can actually support this channel is to click the like button, because clicking the like button tells the algorithm that more people want to see this video and people like this video. So if you want to share it with friends, that's the gold standard, by the way. Or if you don't have friends like me, you can click the like button and that will just share it to all the people in the community that might want to see it. Remember to go over to the No Emotion website, because you can sign up to register to get the early notification of the new design that's coming out in March for No Emotion. I think it's amazing. Also, interesting news, my cousin came round the other day and he was wearing his No Emotion hoodie. He's in the Discord as well, so say hello to him. He's actually got two of the hoodies and he wore one when we got together yesterday. And by the way, talking to Mark about XRP and seeing Mark develop, because he was very new to this space, very, very new. Seeing him develop from someone with no knowledge to where he is now, I'm pretty sure everyone in the Discord watching this will think, oh, he knows what he's talking about. Yeah, he's applied himself to learn all of these technical ins and outs. He obviously claims he doesn't know much, which we could all claim, but he's really made that progress. And it's really given me an optimistic outlook on what this community is doing. It's bringing people literally from zero to where he is right now, fully understanding how Nostro Vostro works and all this kind of stuff with expert understanding. And I can guarantee that any one of you in here, including Mark, could actually talk to an investment banker or a banker about ISO and probably know more than that banker. I think that's incredible. Amazing what we're working towards in this community. Every one of you is a positive force for the XRP community and in your lives and your family and your friends. So make sure that you're educating, not pointing fingers. I will do the same. You can hold me to that regard as well. And just try to understand where we are in the market. This is desperate times. People are desperate. People are angry. We're at 32 cents, 33 cents. It's tough down here. Been here for 6 years. So obviously we have to have empathy, understand where we are, understand where other people might be more in desperate times, desperate need of money and all that kind of stuff. There's lots going on. And I just think in the end, being positive wins. So that's what I'm going to do on this channel. I'm going to be as positive as I can. I will always share other channels that are being positive as well. So if you want a shout out, a free shout out on the channel, you just got to be a positive kind of guy or gal. There's lots of girls out here doing it as well. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there. Wait for this content that's coming. Oh, it's going to be good. Really, trust me, it's going to be good. I'm also going to do some live streams this week, so pay attention to your YouTube. It'll be lots of live streams, potentially a live stream every single day. Oh, I shouldn't have said that. Anyway, I did say it. Remember to go to No Emotion, register for that pre-order for when the March drop comes out. Stay emotionless, and I'll see you in the next one.